Chris Gabehart left Gibbs Racing. That part everyone knows. But what came next? He kept accessing JGR's secret files. He photographed confidential documents, he deleted his texts, and now Gibbs Racing is suing him for over $8 million. The court just found out those texts are gone, and somebody has a lot of explaining to do. Here is what actually happened, step by step, because the timeline is wild. On November 6, 2025, Chris Gabehart sat down with Gibbs himself. The conversation ended with a clear understanding. It would be best to part ways. That should have been the end of it. Pack your things, sign the papers, move on. But Gabehart did not move on. The very next day, November 7th, he took at least 20 photographs of confidential JGR team information, not notes, photographs, on a phone, of documents he was no longer supposed to have access to. Then it gets worse. Between November 12th and November 15th, Gabehart accessed a folder on his personal Google Drive labeled Spire. That drive was synced to his JGR-issued computer. So, while still technically on JGR's payroll, on JGR's equipment, he was pulling material into a folder named after the team he was about to join. Gibbs Racing says that is theft, plain and simple. And here is the part that should make anyone nervous. Gabehart's own attorney has admitted it was stupid, said Gabehart is embarrassed, said he regrets it. That is not a denial, that is a confession wrapped in an apology. But the deleted texts, that is where this story really blows open. Stay with me. By November 25th, less than 3 weeks after his conversation with Gibbs, Gabehart was already writing focus plans for Spire Motorsports on official Spire letterheads. He had not even formally separated from JGR yet. The check had not cleared, the NDAs were still being discussed, and he was already doing his new job. JGR found out, and on December 3rd, they called Spire co-owner Jeff Dickerson directly. They warned him, "This is tortious interference. You have 90 days to fix it, or we take you to court." Spire did not fix it. So JGR filed suit, $8 million plus an injunction. The claim? Gabehart took proprietary team information, and Spire is now using it to compete against them this season in the NASCAR Cup Series. Spire's defense? They never asked for JGR's secrets. They do not want them. They even have a technical alliance with Hendrick Motorsports, which they say makes JGR's information useless to them. And when Gabehart formally joined Spire, he signed new NDAs with them too. That sounds reasonable on the surface, but then the court ordered expedited discovery. And that is when everything changed. Here is the moment the case shifted. During discovery, both sides were required to hand over relevant communications. Gabehart disclosed that he had deleted his text messages with Jeff Dickerson before November 15th. His reason? He genuinely believed this dispute would never end up in court, so he deleted them. Then Dickerson made his own disclosure. He had an auto-delete feature running on his phone. All his texts, including every conversation with Gabehart, were being automatically wiped on a rolling basis. And here is the part JGR cannot let go. That auto-delete feature was not turned off until February 26th, 2026. Think about that. From October 2025, when JGR believes Gabehart was already talking to Spire behind their back, all the way through February 2026, every single text between those two men is gone. And remember, JGR warned Dickerson on December 3rd that litigation was coming. He already knew. But the auto-delete kept running for nearly 3 more months after that call. JGR says that is not an accident. They say the most logical reason those messages were deleted is that they contained proof of misconduct. One text did survive, and it is a strange one. In the small number of messages Gabehart did produce, there is a text from Dickerson that contains a draft of Spire's legal response to the lawsuit, a draft of a document that had not been filed yet. Sent to Gabehart before it was public. JGR's lawyers pointed directly at that text and asked, why is the man being sued receiving legal strategy documents from the team he allegedly stole secrets for? And if they were coordinating that closely, what else were they discussing in the messages that are now gone forever? The judge has seen this, and even she is asking questions. So what is JGR asking the court to do right now? 5 things. First, they want a third-party subpoena sent to Jeff Dickerson personally, demanding every communication he had with Gabehart about his move to Spire and any mention of JGR's confidential information. Second, they want Spire as an organization to produce all internal documents related to Gabehart's hiring, including records of when the auto-delete was turned on and when it was turned off. Third, they want subpoenas sent directly to Gabehart's and Dickerson's cell phone carriers, covering every call and text between October 1st, 2025 and March 13th, 2026. The carriers may have records even after the phones were wiped. Fourth, they want subpoenas issued to 5 additional people: Joe Custer, Justin Marks, Todd Meredith, Rick Ware, and Tommy Baldwin. All are Chevrolet-affiliated team principals. JGR's argument is that if Dickerson was sharing stolen information with anyone, these are the most likely people he would have told. Fifth, they want a forensic expert to physically examine Dickerson's phones, tablets, and computers to find out whether deleted texts can be recovered and exactly when that auto-delete was switched on. This is the second time JGR has pushed for those 5 names. The judge blocked it the first time, calling it a fishing expedition. JGR came back and said, "With all due respect, we are not fishing. We are trying to protect trade secrets that once lost are lost forever." And that brings us back to the title of this video, because a lawsuit worth $8 million is serious, but the deleted texts are what could make this case worth far more, or blow it up entirely. Right now, Judge Susan C. Rodriguez is walking a careful line. She has been reluctant to let JGR go on a broad search without harder proof that their information is actively being used by Spire this season. But the deleted messages, the auto-delete running after Dickerson knew about the lawsuit, and the draft legal strategy showing up in Gabehart's texts? That is exactly the kind of evidence that makes judges change their minds. The injunction hearing is coming. If JGR wins it, Spire could be forced to stop using anything tied to Gabehart while the case plays out. That would cripple their 2026 season. If Spire wins it, JGR goes back to square one and has to prove damages through a long, expensive trial. Either way, the deleted texts are the center of everything, and whether they can be recovered from the carriers may decide who walks away from this $8 million fight. Chris Gabehart left Joe Gibbs Racing thinking it would be clean, but those 20 photographs, that Spire folder, those deleted messages, and that $8 million lawsuit say it was anything but.